like a Hellcat.
Hello and welcome back to the channel where once again it's time for another issue of Warhammer 40,000 Combat Patrol. Today we're on issue number 19, which sees us collect a Parasite of Mortrex miniature. These are £26 at Games Workshop, so this issue at only $9.99 is a huge saving. No doubt it will be one of the most popular issues, I would imagine. And it says we're going to be covering the Tyrannid Vanguard Beast, the Great Crusade, and more Silver Templars. Turning over it straight on to how to build the Parasite of Mortrex with your step-by-step instructions. The miniature, to be fair, doesn't have too many parts, so it's not really that complicated to put together. Before we go on to painting it, showing us how to apply our Wraithbane, our Baraknar Burgundy, Squid Orange, and Abaddon Black on the first page. Turning over, then it shows us what our work impress miniature looks like at the bottom of the page before we go on to the Great Crusade. This is Reed Section A, Imperium Part 16. The Great Crusade was led by the Emperor himself. This carries on over the page before we go on to Enemy Within, another reading section, Reed Section D, Fiction Part 6. A Parasite of Mortrex haunts the skies above a shattered Imperial city, waiting for a chance to strike. Quite a lot of reading, to be fair, here, because that carries on over the page, and it's pretty much another full page there before we go on to Bonds of Honor Part 5. This is Reed Section E, Silver Templars Part 5. The floor of the tunnels seemed to writhe and move as all manner of Tyrannids swarmed towards the Silver Templars. That finishes over the page before we go on to the page where we name our Parasite of Mortrex miniature. Like I've said, we have these in the issue. In every issue, I should say, when we have new models, we get to name the models or name the units. Over the page then, and we have the data sheet for the Parasite of Mortrex. 12 inches of movement, toughness 5, saving throw of 4+, wounds 5, leadership 8+, a pretty decent miniature, judging by its statistics. Then it tells us about the Parasite of Mortrex. Over the page, play Section K, Tyrannids Part 3. They have barbed ovipositor, whatever that is, and it's pointing to the tail. So, again, my Tyrannids knowledge is non-existent, so I do probably sound like a complete noob when I talk about them, in all fairness. And it says it has clawed limbs as well. Plus point, lightning fast. Plus point, battle shock. Negative point, lack of durability. Over the page then, tells us about its barbed ovipositor that I mentioned, and it also has an example down below saying it itches. Its itches is an ability that the Parasite of Mortrex can use to force a single enemy unit within engagement range to take a battle shock test, even if that unit is knocked below half strength. Before we go on to Scenario 15, Alpha Strike, play Section F, Scenarios Part 15. In this scenario, you will use the Parasite of Mortrex as part of your Tyrannid Combat Patrol. This is the perfect opportunity to get to grips with the special rules for this new unit and to see how it fares in battle. Like always, step-by-step instructions. The Tyrannids go first in this battle. Like always, an example of moving and shooting and an example of charging and fighting. Before we go into the Space Marines' turns, and again, an example of moving and shooting, and an example of charging and fighting. Then we have our little bit of storyline material at the end for if it's a Space Marine victory or a Tyrannids victory, before we turn onto the very back page to say our final Space Marine model is in issue 20, the Chaplain on a bike. That is going to be a very popular issue. That is a very expensive miniature. I believe he's over £30 the last time I checked. And then issue number 21 comes with the Eldari Farseer, the first model in the next unit. That is issue 19, done and dusted. Quite a nice model in all fairness, and again a huge saving on the retail value. What are your thoughts, I should say, on issue 19 and the Parasite of Mortrex? And are you looking forward to starting the next unit of Combat Patrol, the Eldari? Let me know your thoughts down below. And like always, I'll be back next week with issue 20 of Combat Patrol. Goodbye for now.